420 million views of videos pushing steroids to these young viewers. How easy was it for you to get a hold of these SARMs?
I just had to click on a link that added them to my cart, check them out.
You woke up one morning and thought, hell, I'm going blind.
That's exactly what happened. I basically couldn't see for like 2 to 3 minutes.
And I said, what the hell are you doing? You got to get off this stuff.
Now, Chris Gutierrez, our senior news anchor on News on Merritt Street, did some investigating for us to see just how easy it would be for a teenage boy to get their young hands on these dangerous drugs.
We found a disturbing black market of steroids sold as supplements all over the internet. Even though these drugs are illegal, here's how they do it. Many of these supplements are sold as research chemicals, which means they're not meant for human use. But they're still finding their way into gyms across the country. Just take SARMs, for example, which stands for Selective Androgen Receptor Modulators. SARMs have never been legal. They've never been prescribed by doctors. In fact, they were studied in the 90s for muscle loss after cancer treatment. Another popular body-enhancing drug is Trenbolone, or Tren for short. These supplements are banned in competitive sports, and they're on the World Anti-Doping Agency's prohibited list. But when we searched online, they're everywhere. We could have paid roughly $200 for a bottle of SARMs and a small vial of Tren. They even promote free shipping. It's that easy. But what's in these pills? One study tested dozens of SARM supplements and found a laundry list of dangerous ingredients, including unapproved hormones and steroids. But because they're sold as supplements, there's no oversight by the Food and Drug Administration, which means people have no idea what they're putting in their bodies.
Well, I'll start with a shameless plug. If you haven't started getting your news on Merritt Street Media, you should. Chris is our senior anchor, and we have hours of news every day. So Dr. Phil Primetime is not the only quality programming you can get on Merritt Street, so you need to start getting your news here as well. Chris, thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So that was a disturbing piece that you just put together. Were you surprised how easy it is for these young men to get their hands on these really dangerous substances?
I was. In fact, when I first spoke to your producer about it, I was blinded to what was going on, to be honest with you. And then I did a deep dive, my producer and I was shocked and disturbed by what we found and how easy it was for me to potentially buy those things.
Yeah. So what do you think's the driving force behind these young boys doing this?
You started this show by telling us how prevalent it is on social media, right? More than 400 million views. The problem is our kids get addicted to those things and they can't stop scrolling through those things, right? And so if so-and-so's doing it or if so-and-so's doing it, then I want to try it too. And that's the world we live in, and that's the culture of, hey, this guy's bulking up real quick and I want to make the football team. Maybe I should be doing the same thing. And they get stuck in this cycle of going down this path where it leads to nothing but destruction. I've got a 13-year-old son at home, right? He has friends who he looks up to at school and they play football and he wants to be big and do these things. And so we have real conversations at our house because if I'm not talking to him, people on social media will be.
Chris, wait till you hear about 23-year-old bodybuilder Colton. Now, he says he's using steroids now and looking to launch himself to internet stardom at whatever the cost. That's the concern. Whatever the cost. And that's what I mean about immediate gratification. Take a look.
I have an addiction and obsession with lifting. I can never be big enough. I started because I was getting bullied a lot in school. I was 5 foot tall and around like 100 pounds, and everyone made fun of me. And I actually left school early just because of all the bullying. So I decided to go to the gym. On Instagram, you see a lot of fitness influencers and models, and everyone wants to look like that. A lot of the influencers that I follow, they do take steroids, and so that's another reason why, at my age, I hop on gear and take it. I mean, you can get steroids for cheaper than protein powder. I was roughly around 20, 21 years old when I first started steroids. Within the first 2 weeks, I got all the way up to 170, 175. And then about a month and a half in, 2 months in, I was at 180, 185. And that was getting pure muscle. And that's when people started noticing. It felt really good. People call it a God complex because it literally gives you this placebo effect of feeling like a god, like you can't die. But then the downfall was all the roid rage. Like I would just get mad out of nowhere. I'd just blow up on people and almost lose relationships and friendships from it. My goal is to be Mr. Olympia one day. So I'm not really worried about my mental or physical health at the moment, just because I have my eyes on the prize right now.
Colton, what inspired you to start using these substances?
When I was about 17 years old, I started working out and I wasn't seeing really much results. So I took about a year off and I came back and I had a growth spurt because I was about 5 foot tall in high school, 100 pounds. I was bullied a lot. So at 18, I came back at like 6 foot, 220 pounds out of shape. So I started working out for the next 4 years and got in really good shape. But then I realized I wanted to take the bigger step and start competing.
So you started steroids at what age?
20, 21, around there.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, I was kind of like hesitant about everything. And then once I got on it and I started seeing more results, I wasn't really as worried. And I was feeling okay and everything mentally, physically.
You have concerns about this.
Yes. There's a lot of roid rage, and I have to deal with that. And especially just having kids is one of my bigger concerns.
So you don't value all the
No.
muscled up
No, not at all.
sort of
I'm
thing?
with him for who he is, not for what he looks like. I didn't support him at all when he first took it, and I still don't.
Yeah. So who are you doing this for?
Myself.
And what's the payoff?
Just knowing that I made it to the Olympia or just got my pro card and was able to step on stage, because that's just been a dream of mine for the last couple of years.
But at what cost, right?
Yeah, that's your concern, right?
At
Yes.
what cost?
Yes, it is, because I want kids. You know, as a woman, we shouldn't have to be scared or worried or stay up at night wondering if we can have kids or not. And it's a big concern of mine.
Do you
Yeah.
think about those things?
Not really. I'm more focused right now, like on making it on the stage.
Once you do that, once you step on this stage, then what?
Well, I'm gonna keep going until I win. And then if I win, I wanna get another one back to back. I don't have any like intentions on stopping until like I'm in my older age.
How much do you track the competition on social media? You're looking at these guys?
Yeah, I watch them pretty often, but I don't usually compare myself or anything to them.
Yeah, everybody that believes that, stand on your head.
I was 13 when I posted my first video. It was really easy for me at first to gain attention. I'd make body transformation videos that would get millions of views. Seeing other people online that were getting bigger and stronger, I was influenced to get SARMs. Over the course of about 8.5 months, I went from benching 275 pounds to benching 385 pounds. Things took a turn when I was on a vacation in Hawaii. I cracked open a new bottle of a SARM, and this bottle was more concentrated than normal. And I didn't really think of it at the time. I just took my normal dosing for the night. The next morning, I woke up and I opened my blinds and everything was distorted. Everything was super white. It felt like I was going blind for like 2 or 3 minutes. It was scary. I definitely think that experience motivated me to stop it.
Ryan, let me ask you, how easy was it for you to get a hold of these SARMs, for example?
Pretty easy. I just had to click on a link that I saw like on a YouTube video. Took me right to a website and added them to my cart and checked them out.
Delivered right to your house.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking at your progression here. It had a huge effect, right?
Yeah, it definitely did. There was a time where I really wanted to bring up my strength, specifically with like bench pressing. And so I changed my diet up, I changed my training up, and then I threw in the SARMs. And it was literally within a month of doing all those things that I saw an effect. I was bench pressing one weight the month before, and the next month it was going up like it was air.
Yeah. What did you think about this, Dad?
Well, Ryan has a passion, and he fell in love with the gym. He fell in love with bodybuilding, and he has great genetics naturally, and he progressed very, very quickly. I didn't know that he was choosing to do the SARMs initially, and so I feel like, you know, Ryan was very involved with social media on YouTube. A lot of his friends are even today very, high up on the food chain as influencers. And so I think just collectively him being with these other people, seeing their progression, seeing the things they were doing and seeing their social media grow. My common sense would say, maybe he's like, okay, what would it be like to go to the next level with my physique? And what kind of attention or what would that do for my social media?
Yeah, and you're talking about the food chain on social media, and the food chain means money. Is that?
Yes.
Have you made money?
I made money, but I was more focused just on the views, actually, not really what I was making.
And the views, what was the payoff for the views?
Kind of just told me that I was doing something right and that I should keep going and doing the things that I'm doing.
So strangers clicking gave you a warm, fuzzy feeling?
Yeah.
You don't know what they're clicking on. They could be clicking just like, wow, look at him. He's really working hard and doing a good job. Or they could be clicking like, look at this freak. You don't know. You don't know. They're
Absolutely.
just clicking.
Yeah. I've gotten all different types of comments. Yeah, I've gotten you're doing great and your face is ugly and you suck. So I've had everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I get those too.
Yeah.
When you did find out he was using these drugs, what was your reaction?
I knew nothing about SARMs. So I knew that he wasn't doing steroids. And so then I just thought, well, maybe these are just some supplements he was getting over the counter. I was ignorant to it. And so it wasn't until after when Ryan started explaining to me the negative side effects with his eyesight, and I said, what the hell are you doing? You got to get off this stuff.
Yeah, because you woke up one morning and thought, hell, I'm going blind.
Yeah, I was super scary because the night before I was taking like my normal dose, but I was cracking open a new bottle and it was a lot more concentrated than normal. I pop it in, do my regular dose, go to sleep, and then I woke up and that's exactly what happened. I basically couldn't see for like 2 to 3 minutes, which is a long time when you've been able to see your whole life.
That scared you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Looking at it now, being almost 24, I was like 16, 17 back then.
Yeah.
Sounds insane that I even did that.
Do you think pro wrestlers use these things a lot?
Probably.
I mean, they're like huge.
I would say if you're doing professional stuff, you're probably on it.
Have you ever noticed in the media that those guys seem to die a lot at young ages?
Yeah. More recently too, there's been quite a few people.
Yeah, if you look at the stats, they die in their 30s, 40s, and 50s at an alarmingly high rate. And it's always heart or suicide.